Hey, it's Shane Speal, and let's get into some historic style diddley bow playing. I just finished this diddley bow, and we're going to show it off. I'm going to show you a cool playing technique that I stole from Lonnie Pitchford videos. First of all, this video is brought to you by stubbyslide.com. Stubbyslide.com, boom, right there, where you can get cool t-shirts like this. You can get my own handmade cigar box guitars, and you can get the coolest guitar slides made just for cigar box guitar playing. So check it out, stubbyslide.com. All right, I just finished this diddley bow. Technically, this is not a diddley bow, but the way people have been referring to one-string cigar box guitars lately, it's kind of entered into the vernacular that a one-string cigar box guitar is a diddley bow. In all honesty, in all honesty, a diddley bow is actually an instrument that kids would make by unwinding a broomstick wire, nailing it on a barn wall, and putting a couple sticks or bricks to pull the wire off the wall, and using an old Coke bottle as a slide. And the barn wall became the resonator. But over the years, people have started to refer to one-string cigar box guitars as diddley bows as well. So we're going to call that a diddley bow for now. All right, so I built this from an antique box, a Smoke This cigar box. I put this box pre-1920s. It's a beautiful, most likely cedar box. I did coat the box in glossy polyurethane to really bring out the brown color in it and just to make it stand out. The neck is a piece of old barnwood that I got. Actually, a local antique store was selling barnwood, and I figured I'd pick up a couple planks. They were cheap, and I cut it down to size for this. The frets themselves are copper wire. Now I show you how I did the copper wire frets in this video right here. So that video is the tutorial on how to do copper wire frets. The frets go only up to the 12th fret, to the octave. The nut is a piece of an old bolt, and the bridge is the same way. It is a piece of an old bolt. And the neck goes through the box. I gouged out the neck to fit the box inside, and I did two very crude F-holes. I like the look of very crude F-holes in an antique box. So this diddley bow, I had a G string, no jokes. I had a G string laying around, and so that's what I used to string it up. It's tuned to an E right now. The scale length is 25 inches. Why 25 inches? Because that's the length of the wood I had, so I figured I'd go with 25 inches. It worked. You've got the frets that are the whole way up to the 12th fret, and it has a great tone to it. It's 100% acoustic, and for this thing being only 20 minutes old, I'm having a blast with it already. And in a lot of my studies, I've found that diddley bows back in the day were used almost as much of percussion instruments as they were a guitar. As the kids would make them, they liked to use it to keep the rhythm going. Now that pull off I'm doing there is what I basically stole from Lonnie Pitchford, and I noticed he did that a lot with his diddley bows. And all I'm doing is starting on the 5th fret, going 5th, 3rd open, and it's a pull off. It's a 1, and it gives a trill, and it just gives that. Move it up 2 frets. Move it up to the 12th fret. So it's crude sounding. It's not what we would usually do. Everybody's trying to be pretty. Now, this rhythm style is more. 3-6-9, goose drank wine, like something like that. Let me get that rhythm going before I start the lyrics. 3-6-9, goose drank wine. Monkey chewed tobacco on the streetcar line, line broke. Monk got choked and they all went to heaven on little rowboat. If I could, I surely would stand on the rock that Moses stood. And Moses stood on the Red Sea shore, splitting out water with a 2x4. Oh boy, won't you line on the track? Oh boy, won't you line the track like a? Oh boy, won't you line the track like a? Oh, we go lining track. So that's a great technique if you ever build a 1-string diddley bow with some frets. That is the old primitive way of keeping that that rhythm going. I mean, like I said, this is as much of a percussion instrument, a rhythm instrument, as it is melodic. And yes, that low E string continues to be a drone. And it almost has, you can definitely hear some African roots in it. It sounds very much like some African music. But you can, with a 1-string diddley bow, you can get into other stuff as well. Continue to use it as a groove instrument. This should be a groove digger, basically, you know? And keep your lamp trimmed and burning. Keep your lamp trimmed burning. Keep your lamp trimmed burning. See what my Lord has done. Sister, don't get worried. Sister, don't get worried. Sister, don't get worried. See what my Lord has done. One of the things I did with this as well is I did not shut the box. In fact, at the end of this video, I'm going to unwind the string and I'm going to open the box and you can see what's inside. But I kind of wanted to leave that so it buzzed a little more, so it had a little more knocks and pings to it. That's the one thing so many people are missing out when they try to build a perfect cigar box guitar, is they try to get rid of the buzzes, they try to get rid of the knocks and pings, and to me, that's the whole reason I built my very first cigar box guitar, was I was looking for the grit. So, um, don't run away from it. It reminds me, there was, I forget what movie it was, but it was like a family reunion, and one of the characters had built a rocking chair for his uncle. And they, instead of taking the airplane, they had to drive the whole way statewide to the uncle's house with the rocking chair on top. When they finally got to the uncle's house and they put the rocking chair on the porch, as they rocked on it, the whole thing squeaked. And the builder of the chair looked at his uncle and said, "It took me hours to get that squeak in there because rocking chairs are supposed to squeak." Well, I always felt the same way about cigar box guitars. Cigar box guitars are supposed to buzz, and they're supposed to sound imperfect. I mean, there's no rules to this, but that's what I love in my heart. That's what I go after. So, we have the frets here, and as I did the fret video, people were asking, well, did it work? And I can tell you people, it did work, and I had to do very little to get rid of dead frets. Like that would be considered a dead fret, because as I hit this fret here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th fret, the 7th fret is just a little high and it's buzzing. Right there, I'll give you a little close-up. Everybody loves these close-ups. So this fret above it is buzzing because it's just a little higher. Now I could take a hammer and tap that down, but I let it go. Again, to give it a bit of a buzz. And the only other thing is I put this nut on there, and if you take a look at that nut, you see I dug it down deep into the neck so that the top of the nut wasn't too much higher than the 1st fret. That keeps the action down. And let me see if I can open that up a little more. It keeps the action down. It keeps it so the 1st fret is pretty much correct as far as noting goes. I love using bolts because the string rides in between the teeth of the bolt. So there we go. The other thing is, you almost always have to stomp your leg when you're playing the diddley bow. You do. Your whole body just gets into it. So, all right, let's get into the guts of this. Again, it is nothing but a piece of barnwood through a box. So, if I undo the string, because the box is being held down by string tension, and that nut is grooved deep enough, and I tapped it in with my CB Giddy fretting hammer. The bridge itself is loose enough. Take that out and put it on the side here. Let's undo the string, and this is the inside of the box. I'm going to open it slowly. There we go. So you see, all I did was I notched out the neck, and I used my table saw to notch it out. You know, swipe after swipe after swipe. I notched it out, and I just made sure that table saw blade was only as thick as the width of the box. And so, boom, it goes down perfectly. Go ahead, try to make one of these. There's a Shane Speal tuner. Look at that, I'm going to give you guys vertigo, you know. Shane Speal tuner up here, and the copper frets. There's a bolt here, stick goes through. Very easy to build. One other detail, I always say to sign your work, well, to keep this looking old-timey, let me see, you can sort of see right there, I signed my name in pencil, and I dated it, because so many of the antique cigar box guitars I own, if they have a signature, it's usually in pencil, not in paint or pen or anything else. Someone usually just took a pencil and read it on there. So there is my one string diddley bow. Go ahead and try to make one yourself. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. Um, okay, and make sure if you want to see more cool instruments like this, you subscribe to this channel because there's a lot more coming up. Check out stubbyslide.com because that is what supports this channel. And here's a few more videos, including there's the video on how to do the frets. Thanks for watching. My name's Shane Speal. Bye-bye.